All right, we are in here going local, showing love to a local legend.
Thanks.
What's up, Mark Mallman?
How you doing?
Dude, I'm very happy that you're in here.
I'm very happy to be here.
So you sent me, this is how this whole thing came about. So you sent me, well, this was first happened. I was on Instagram. I posted a picture of my cat, and I noticed you liked it. I don't know how you found it, but you liked the picture of my cat. I was like, oh, dope. Mark Mallman's out here. And then literally the next day, I got a vinyl of your most recent record, The End Is Not the End.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is the universe telling me that I have to get this man in here.
You got to. First of all, I'm all about the animals on Instagram. Like, that's all I do. I don't even watch TV anymore. And like probably half the things I follow are just animals. And I'm just liking it all. You know, I could binge watch a show on Netflix, but I just Instagram animals.
But you just binge watch corgis like doing this or something?
Thick. Those corgis are thick.
They're so thick with like 8 seasons.
I know, man.
Top three favorite viral animals, go.
Well, I'd have to say Norbert the dog, Marnie the dog, and then this dog named Cloudman who is missing part of his face.
Oh, no.
And he's super cool looking. So.
I didn't know you were actually going to go in with personalities. I was just saying like animal breed. But so.
Oh, no.
So those dogs. I like.
Yeah.
Do you remember Lil Bub the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hosted like the Internet Cat Festival.
Yeah.
He was here. Lil Bub is my 1 through 10.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope he is.
I know. It's like it's funny because like all the rock legends are starting to die, but their lifespans are much longer than the internet pets.
Yeah. Oh,
so like who's gonna die first? You know, like a Rolling Stone or like an internet cat like Lil Bob.
Lil Bob.
The world's gonna be crushed either way.
I know. I don't know.
I hope like Keith Richards and Lil Bob don't die on the same day.
I'd be shattered.
Everything's gonna shut down.
Oh my Lord.
Because Marnie is like 16-year-old Shih Tzu, and some of those pictures, I go, is she dead? Is she actually dead? Her tongue is wrinkly. Who has a wrinkly tongue, man?
No, I can't have a wrinkly tongue. Don't hate it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was not.
It's
that
a condition.
That was not inclusive. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I'm sad. We were having such a good time off the air, and I'm talking like, is Lil Bub dead?
Internet pets.
Should I Google it? I'm gonna find out right now.
They don't even know that they're famous.
Whoa,
you know, they don't even know about it. Yeah, they're just like doing what they do, and there's a lot of people loving it. And sometimes, like I follow this bird named Banana, and like I'll just like type, "I love you, Banana," in the comments, like.
And
it satisfies
no
me.
Cognizance.
No,
no.
Maybe.
Also, Lil Bub is alive. He's 6 and doing great, by the way.
6 years old. That's great.
Dude, what should we talk about? Because I was prepping for this. I Googled Mark Mallman.
Okay.
You have a Wikipedia page, which is major.
I do. I like a Wikipedia page in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it's OG Wikipedia page because some college student was a fan at Carleton and he made the OG Wikipedia page. I didn't even know what Wikipedia was. And someone told me about it. I don't know what year it's from, but it's like, that's exciting, man.
That's a mark of stature. I don't even think Go Radio has a Wikipedia page. We should probably get one. So, dude, where do we even start with? Because like, are you working on a new album? I saw
all the time. Yeah,
really. I saw it because you sent me the record, and I thought it was new.
Yeah, it's my first vinyl, which like when I was signed in 2004, the label was like, you know, we're going to hopefully do vinyl and send you to Japan, and whatever happened didn't happen. So we waited, and now finally that independent record, a label said we want to do vinyl, and it's my first vinyl. I'm super excited.
That artwork looks dope.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah, it was a fan like sent me this drawing of me, and I was like, that's cool, man. Can you do some more? And he's like, sure, I just do them on my free time. He sent me a bunch more, and I was like, what do you think about album cover? He said, yeah. So it's just like happened, you know?
That's great. So we're working on, I saw a picture on Twitter of you laying down bass.
Yeah.
So we're in the process. When
I'm in
can
the
we
process,
get that?
you know, but it's like, I have 8 albums already.
Yeah.
And like you guys are like, I'm a rabid music fan like you guys are. So I get confused when an artist has too many records. Like Prince, I'm like, what do I know after Emancipation, there are all these records. I don't know where to go to. So I like try to really, now I'm waiting. I used to do a record a year, and now I'm doing like every 4 years, you know? So there's like a ton of songs that won't ever see light of day. But
that's part of the process, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I just don't want to like have a ton of records anymore, you know? And so these are, it's like heavily influenced. I think Spotify has changed my style a lot, you know, but it's still like, you know, alternative rock, indie rock, you know, but like.
Change your style of music or change your style of like how you put it out? Because that was gonna be my next question.
Like just my style of music. I mean, I listen to the radio, you know, a lot. This station, and you know, and then, but I also like on Spotify, like I'm really into stuff that like I can't ever find, like a lot of like African disco from the 70s.
Dude, Japanese funk and Japanese disco is
I've never listened to that.
I like that's the wave.
So I gotta hear it. You gotta send me it, because like that's kind of stuff is cool. It's like going to the library only for music, you know?
Yeah.
But when I want to like know what's current, then it's, you know, what's popular rather. Then I'll listen to, you know, whatever. But so yeah, making new records is super fun. We'll see.
How has your music changed with the dawn of streaming? Like what influences? Because you said you try to keep it primarily rock, but genre is so bold nowadays. So how has your music changed? Like even with the addition of instruments? Or
I feel like we're genreless. Almost to the point of genrelessness, you know?
Yeah.
And I do feel like rock, you know, rock music is kind of an archaic thing, but it has like more hardcore fans now than ever. Like people who like it are more way into it. It's more like, it's not as mainstream, you know, as it was in the 90s or even the early 2000s. But I feel like the accessibility to all forms of music is great. You know, we're used to have like save money to buy one thing. Now you have everything, and so as a musician, it just schools me all the time. I'm being schooled. You know, how can I grow and learn? And it's coming from way outside sources that I wouldn't be able to afford. You know, a huge jazz collection or something.
That's true, because like I thought about like even myself growing up, because I think I was born in 1993. I think people born maybe at 95. We have the least amount of recognition, like we can remember life before the internet, but just barely. I think we're like the last people. And I remember I'd have to save up like 10 or 20 bucks at a time to buy an album I want, and that was it. And you know,
and if it's bad, you got to sit with it.
Yeah. Man, you know how long I had to sit with a 50 Cent's album Massacre? Which had like 4 jams on it? That's the second one. There was like 4 good ones on there. Maybe 4.
Man.
And you know that I guess that's 33% of the album, which isn't bad by any means.
I mean, you know, but that's what they used to do. They used to put like 3 or 4 singles on a record, and the rest would be like garbage. Yeah. No offense, 50 Cent, but like
I mean, Get Rich or Die Trying is the one, you know.
Yeah, right. I haven't listened to it, so I don't know. But you know, I feel like when it comes down to business and like what works and what doesn't work, I can't go there. Like I can't spend my time there, because my song won't connect. Like it has to be about like you know, the song has to be about a story. It has to be about the human experience. It has to like explore technology without addressing like, hey, listen to my song, or like, you know, trying to. I don't write music trying to grow my Twitter fan base or something like that, or do projects like that. I've even had labels with marathons. The label say, "Oh, don't do the marathon so close to the album release."
Really,
you know,
they don't like the marathon.
They don't want it to eclipse one another, you know. But I just think like art happens when it happens, and you let it out when it comes out. And timing, well, you know, that's up to other people, not artists.
That's true. That's interesting you bring that up, because just the other day we had a band, up and coming band, Yam House. They were in here, and we were talking about the importance of social media and how entrepreneurialism and like having that business mind is so important. And they were all about the calculations. But you're like, you seem very free flowing, and you just want to get it out.
Well, that might be their process, you know, like Andy Warhol's process was very much about marketing. It was like almost critical of marketing, you know, where it
was a satire of it.
Yeah, and Picasso, he was all about trend, you know, but someone like Van Gogh was just like, I'm just going to make paintings and I don't care. I only sold 2 paintings, you know, so I don't think there's one formula to making good art, you know, or good songwriting. Somebody might like, you know, Pomplamoose or something. Their process might be all about their fans, you know, and another artist might just be like way off in their own zone. You know, it doesn't matter how you write a killer song. You know, like look at Coachella, like all these people got there from totally different ways. You know, there's no one way to get success other than be true to yourself and like listen to the silence.
Do you think that good art will cut through?
I don't believe that the cream rises to the top, because I think you know, the dawn of pop music was based on selling a piece of plastic, you know, 45 or whatever it is, resin. I don't know what it is, but And so it's inherent. Marketing is like an inherent principle in like making a song reach critical mass, you know? I'm just an artist, so I try not to concern myself with that because I like to go to sleep at night knowing that I did exactly what I wanted to do. And the price for that is maybe some of my business decisions are up to the label, you know, or up to management or booking or stuff like that, you know?
So it allows you full creativity. You don't need to, instead of just, you know, how am I going to roll this out? How am I going to do all these things that come with the landscape of marketing and get your stuff out? You're like, I'm going to put all my energy in music and so be it. What happens?
I mean, there's ways you got to do it, you know, if you're going to release an album and all that stuff, and you got to do it, like, got to get it on Spotify and all that stuff. And I manage myself now. But as far as like making a good record or making a good song, like, maybe that band who was here, maybe that's how their process, you know, their process. I remember someone who worked on a David Lynch movie was telling me how David Lynch wanted to go to Dairy Queen for an hour one day. And they were like weirded out because he was leaving the movie set. And then they were like, wait a minute, he's David Lynch. Like whatever he has to do to make that movie, it doesn't make sense, but his movies don't make sense.
Were you on the set working on the music for that movie? Okay.
No, I've never worked on set. I've been on sets of movies that I've worked on, but I've never been. I wouldn't want to do that. That's a really hard job, I think.
What's the process of making, because you've done that, Adventureland, 10,000
those
BC?
trailers. I did a lot of trailers, and then I scored about 5 films, like 4 indies and 1 kind of bigger film for Lionsgate.
That's a sweet lane. How did you come about that? What's the process for making music?
I don't know. I started doing some video games commercials for Atari in like the early 2000s. And they sounded like movie trailers, and I just got into movie trailers, and then I got into scoring, and people just approach me with stuff because I have a varied skill set, you know?
Yeah. So diverse.
Yeah, I just compose. I make music. When I was a kid, like somebody said, you know, it's like 18 or something. I went to a studio, and this guy said, never do music for your job. It'll poison poison the well. And it's like, man, like I learned how to write trap music when it just came out because I was doing some ad work for a company that wanted me to we want to make this kind of music that Bauer's making. And I'm like, you mean trap music? And that was like right when Bauer hit. And now I know how to make it, you know. I made like 15 trap songs for that job. But anyways, my full-time heart and soul is in, you know, touring and playing music.
Nice.
My own music.
That's the way to do it. You're just fresh off Art of World.
Just did Art of World. We're doing a show at the Cedar on the 9th of June, and then I'll tour with the Electric Six for like a month.
Nice. So when's this? So we kind of got away from the album. You have like an ETA on.
Sorry,
I'm just into the
you're gonna
music.
cut out like 15 minutes of it for
all
sure.
Good. But because I just dove in.
Right.
Like the last 10 days of getting into Mark Mallman, and I love the sound. I would characterize it. This could be very wrong. The Strokes meets Bowie meets Stones.
Cool, man.
I mean, we kind of hit on 2 of those. That's kind of like the vibe I get, at least from like the most recent album.
The new album definitely has some Stones some 80s Tattoo You Stones influences for sure, and maybe Julian Casablancas solo stuff has influenced me. I mean, more than I don't know. You know, it's weird. Like I listen to Is This It all the time. I think everybody does who likes rock music, but I don't really see it. You know. People say, what are your influences? And it's like when you're young, I think whatever you listen to becomes your influence. But when you're older, you like, you know, I have 8 albums. I know what my sound is, you know, so I intentionally will say, well, I want this, like Double Silhouette, my album before that, it's like, I want this to sound like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure. You know, it's like intentional, you know, when there's some Stone stuff, like Monster Movies was definitely like, I want this to sound like Bowie meets Tattoo You Stones.
So being 8 albums in, you're comfortable enough in your sound and your process. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna explore this lane. How can I put my spin on the type of music I want? Like that kind of combination.
Yeah, that Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. I heard an interview with him once where he said, "I'm not a musician, I'm a historian." That's what he said, and I thought that was really cool. Like especially they're like a blues band, you know, at the core, and I feel like. Definitely, I like to take parts of music history and put it in my songs, you know, where it's like, if part of music history didn't exist, I don't think it would be in my songs. They're all referential to like, it seems like my fans are like fans that know music history, you know, and they get what references are being made. You know, if I have a drummer in the studio, I'm like, you know, it needs to sound like the Stooges, or, you know, or like I want this part to sound like the Killers or something like that.
I think I misattribute this quote to Kanye. I don't know if it is him or not. He said, like, musicians either try to capture a moment in time or they explore a sonic concept. And I feel like sometimes that can kind of go hand in hand, especially when you like think about like 2010s music.
Yeah.
It's like the pop drop and like, you know, a lot of instrumental EDM.
For sure.
And like the trap hi-hats and stuff. So like if you're trying to capture that moment in time, whether it be an era or like emotional, I think that kind of lends to itself. It's the style of music you're making.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Jean-Luc Godard, the filmmaker, said, that art is the child of its time. I think the trap hi-hats thing is interesting. Because their hi-hats are simultaneously disappearing and going crazy. Like, if you listen to the new Janelle Monáe record, there's not a lot of hi-hat on the record at all. But there still is a lot of trap hi-hat, and it stayed for so long, like longer than dubstep. Like
2000, yeah, because I'd imagine it was like Flockavelli, like that's like the mainstream like trap album,
yeah.
like that. And that was like the one, like the dawn of like the Lex Luger sound. And dubstep and Skrillex was like rising at that time. Now look at Skrillex now; he's making pop.
Yeah, dubstep is like gone, but like the trap half tempo like is still rocking in a club. It's crazy. You're like dancing twice as fast to a song that's it's rad.
It's in the same tempo range, like 120 to like 130, as like a 4 on the floor like BPM song. So that's probably because you're like double timing, like but still. Yeah. What's going? I think maybe that Janelle Monáe album, or any absence of the trap hi-hat, I think that could be like a rebellion against it, because now it's ubiquitous. It's in pop.
Every trend moves against. You know, punk is the result of disco.
Yeah.
You know, like people the punks hated disco, but without disco there wouldn't be punk. You know, I mean, I think that new Janelle Monáe record is just a fantastic example of drawing from history and updating it and making it modern.
It's familiar. It's
familiar.
It's retro, but it's pushing the boundary too.
But it's also saying, like, you know, hey, this is amid the flurry of like music changing incredibly fast, especially that genre of music, and she's still like drawing from Prince and drawing from 80s stuff.
I love that. I
think it's really cool. But you're right, it is familiarity too.
I want to talk about your brain.
Okay.
One time you hacked your brain with like a MIDI controller?
Kind of, yeah.
So basically while you were sleeping, this thing, it read your brain and it made music.
Yeah, the technology's been around for a long time. EEG USB. So basically it's electroencephalographs, right? They just, you can buy them. You can buy these controllers.
Okay.
And this was in 2012. We did a road trip across America. It was the first transcontinental mobile music concert that it lasted like 7 days. And I would like, how am I going to play music when I sleep? So the technologist that I was working on the project with, he's like, try these new like headsets. And there's all these headsets all over. Now I'm surprised that people haven't reached critical mass in like, what is it, like 6 years. But in 2012, I was sitting just down the street from here in a warehouse in the North Loop, and it came in the mail from wherever it came from, overseas.
The future.
Plopped it on my head, and in like an hour and a half, I was moving something around the screen just by thinking. And then at that time, I contacted a dude in Michigan who had written an interface for Ableton that you could like go through this program and this program and this program and essentially make the notes go up and down by relaxing or concentrating or relaxing your brain. So you could essentially set the program to a tempo and set it to a key, and then you could lock it in with your Ableton track, and then you can play the solo by thinking.
So inside Ableton? So it ran through like numerous like VSTs within the program to like.
It ran through that. What's that open source thing that you can add into Ableton? Sorry, I don't use it much anymore.
I never was an Ableton guy.
So anyways, this is like this is so deep.
Yeah. I just want to know. I want to know.
This is a Reddit forum now.
I want to do it. And then,
you're listening to Reddit Radio.
I want to do it, then sample myself sleeping.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could sample yourself sleeping.
I mean, we did some crazy stuff with that. I still have the setup, and I do it sometimes. You know, the technology is the hardware and the software need to catch up. Like it's just the real headsets are pretty expensive, and to play music with your brain is still, You know, I don't think Jimi Hendrix of brain-controlled music is really out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future people do it. I found it kind of like boring and tedious after a while, but I mean, the future I think is generative music. Yeah. You know, I mean, if you look at the internet right now, there are MIDI files for like all the Beatles songs. The lyrics for all the Beatles songs are out there too, right? So what do you say in like 10 years, 5 years, there's a computer that takes an algorithm, takes all the Beatles songs, takes all the lyrics, and there's an avatar that adds the voice to it, and you just go to the computer, you're like, generate me 500 Beatles songs, and it just goes, you know, I think that's the future of music. So instead of putting on like a Pandora channel, you still would go to the radio probably to listen to like something like this where you want to hear like, you know, music that's modern, but you also, I think, go to a algorithm, artificial intelligence program and say like, here, play me a bunch of stuff that sounds like Jimi Hendrix all day.
They made, I think Microsoft made something like that where you could there was an acapella and you would kind of choose the style and then it would kind of find the key of the acapella and then it would make like a track around it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty deep generative music. Berkeley developed this thing based off of like the Markov chain and just that would make like Bach piano pieces and they're pretty bad, you know, but it won't take long, I think, for the computer to do the math. I mean, if you have all the Beatles albums, 16 different MIDI versions of all these songs, like
music is math. You're talking about fourths, fifths, and you know, like all these things and scales, which are, you know, different increments. Like, man, math and music go hand in hand. So.
So I really think that's like the future is generative music and generative apps, and then the stars will be like, you know, Diplo, but meets like C3PO, you know, that kind of dude.
C3PO low.
Yeah.
We're off camera. We cut off this conversation because we want to save it. We're talking about VR. You're about to get like this VR headset, the Oculus Go or something.
Yeah.
Sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, right.
Massive,
dude. Serious.
So once VR gets there, do you think it'd be like, hey, download? You can perform a show. Have the right cameras. Like, hey, download my concert. If you missed it, here it is, and I can just put on my Oculus.
Oh, definitely, dude. I mean,
at a Mark Mallman concert.
Think about it. Like, okay, what if Beyonce is like wants to focus on her family, raising her family? She can just be like, all right, I'm gonna do one concert, and this is the time, and everybody plugs in. You know,
like pay-per-view. Here's $40. You can relive my Coachella concert.
Only it's completely immersive. I don't think that's going to stop people from going out and seeing local music. We have this, like, we're humans. We have the tangible grasp. You know, we want to feel life as it happens. But I think that we are also in bed with technology to a point where we're not going to be getting out anytime soon. And so,
no way.
VR concerts, absolutely.
I think
I'm way into it.
I've only seen 311 once. They're my favorite band. I'd like to see them more.
Think about that. Think about like, oh, you can see Sublime in concert VR.
I mean, I guess we still could. It's just with Rome.
Right. Not that I picked a band I would prefer Joy Division, but like, you know, it's crazy.
I'd love to see Hendrix. That'd be great.
Right. So who knows? I don't know, man. But anyways, I made a record too.
Yes, you did. And I would, yeah. So let's play your music.
Okay.
That's the goal of it. So I do this thing every night. It's called the 2 at 10. I play the same band or artist back to back. Hey, you're a band or artist.
I'm a band and artist.
So we should play your songs back to back. I want to start off with Hologram Jesus.
Oh, cool.
I love this song.
Cool.
So describe to me, where did the song come from? What's the inspiration? How did it come to be?
So the whole album is about processing my mom's passing. Okay. So it's not really about my mom dying. It's about how I accepted it. And my mom was like really religious, and so but I'm using a lot of technology in my life. So that's what the idea of the song is, and it's also referencing like Hologram Jesus is referencing like the like Prince hologram or the famous holograms that have appeared in concerts. And like, what if somebody did that? Like we're living in this reality where everything is blurred, even what is sacred is blurred. And I felt like that my dad is friends with a lot of priests, and he was at his church and he gave the priest my new album, and he's like, Hologram Jesus. Yeah, but it's like it's the time we live. I'm sure that's been debated and discussed and probably will happen, but really that song to me, and you can cut me off whenever, but
go on.
The song to me is like I'm desperate to feel something real, and that's the chorus, you know. And that's how I felt. Like I felt so removed and so betrayed by reality because my mom is gone. Like that's like the sun disappearing. Like the one thing, the first thing I knew from being alive is now missing. And so that was a real crazy idea for me to process. And so I was just writing songs, and that was what was coming out. Like, what is reality anymore? I don't really know, you know?
I feel it. I feel it.
That's
So,
what this heavy song, and
it sounds so happy, but
yeah,
that's the nature of music sometimes.
it's influenced a lot by Tom Petty, the style of the song. So,
I can hear that. It's melodic, but still driving.
yeah.
I rock with
So,
it. So
cool.
we'll play that. We'll play it right now. All right, so Mark, that was a hologram Jesus. This is the 2 out of 10 going back to back with their music. That's the one song I wanted to play.
I'm really grateful. I'm going to be doing that on my next tour, but it's the first time we've never played it live yet. So
I need to be there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jam.
I'll try to play it on the 13th of July.
Oh, nice little
turf.
play. I love it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, word up.
With the Electric Six, yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna give you the reins. You can pick whatever song you want.
Any song of mine at all? What's the? I mean, this is like 100 songs. I don't know. I need more.
Whatever you think encapsulates the Mark Mallman sound, or just maybe a song that you want the people to hear.
I mean, that's a heavy question, you know, because we change as people, and I mean, every album represents a certain time of my life. But I guess I would play just Double Silhouette.
Double Silhouette. What's
Yeah.
up? What's up with this song?
Double Silhouette is like it's the same thing as The End Is Not the End, in that I was processing a breakup. So it's not really a breakup album. It's about how we recover from a breakup. So again, it's like I remember like the last thing my mom told me about my albums was like in relation to that album, Double Silhouette. It was like a month before she passed, and she's like, "It's too dark." And looking back, I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty goth album, even though I write a lot of songs in the major key. I like to write a song that's happy with dark lyrics, or a song that's dark with happy lyrics.
Those are the best, the dichotomy of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's what the human experience is about. You might have like a horrible thing happen, and then you go get to see your girlfriend or boyfriend, and it's fun dinner, but you're recovering, you know?
That's weird about music. Because think about this: a C major scale is also an A minor scale.
It's right. It's true.
So like,
It's true.
it echoes life.
It's true. It does echo life.
Sheesh! I just gave myself goosebumps. All right, let's get into it. Mark Mallman, Double Silhouette on the 2 out of 10. That was Double Silhouette, Mark Mallman on the 2 out of 10. Dude, this conversation was extensive.
Yeah, it was deep.
Dude, I love it. I remember before this, I said, yeah, we'll be in here talking for like 15 minutes. We're at a half hour.
Sorry, you'll have to edit that.
Dude, no edits. So where can people, I know we discussed social media and its shortcomings, but if people wanted to follow you, where could they find you?
You can follow me on, just don't follow me out of my house, but you can follow me on, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Friendster.
At Mark Mallman?
Yeah, I'm at Mark Mallman, at Mr. Mark Mallman.
And if you post cat pictures, he might just pull up on you and like them, which is what happens.
Maybe your dogs or monkeys, or if you have a bird that looks like a banana.
Chinchilla.
I'm all about animals, I think maybe that's one of the things I was thinking about. The next album is going to be either about giving the world back to the animals or voluntary human extinction. I'm not sure, one of those.
I like both concepts. Mark, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah.